Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in this evening. We are just so glad that you've joined us here for our first ever Teen Challenge Lakeland Girls Academy Virtual Gala 2020. We chose the tough decision in some ways to go virtual this year, just due to COVID-19, obviously, and due to the many challenges that an in-person gathering we would face with that. So we just want to say thank you again for tuning in. Our theme this year for this year's virtual gala is Unshakable, and you're going to hear this theme woven in and out of our segments this evening and our program this evening. So we truly hope you enjoy. We got some great speakers and entertainment for you this evening, so we just want you to sit back and get comfortable, and we just want to say thank you so much for tuning in. As I mentioned, our theme this evening is Unshakable, and I want to share with you a verse this evening. It's Psalm 62, 1 and 2. And it says this: "Truly, my soul finds rest in God. My salvation comes from Him. Truly, He is my rock and my salvation. He is my fortress, and I will never be shaken." And how many of you know that 2020 has been an unprecedented year, and it has shaken us to our core here as an organization, me individually, and I'm sure you, whether at your family, your business, it has shaken all of us. But I'm glad to say this evening that if we build our lives, if we build our organizations on the foundation of Jesus Christ, we know that we will endure the storm and we will make it through the other side. And I just want to say again, thank you so much for tuning in this evening. I'd be remiss if I didn't start off this evening by thanking all of our local churches and supporters. So if you're out there and you're watching, maybe it's your first time joining us, we want to say welcome to you as well. If you're a returning giver, maybe you've been giving faithfully and sacrificially for years, we just want to say thank you so much for tuning in. Firstly, I want to thank Victory Church and Pastors Wayne Blackburn and Dan McBride and their awesome media team for allowing us to use their facilities to come to you this evening. If you're one of our local businesses that support us or provide services on our campus, we just want to say thank you so much for tuning in. We could not do what we do without you. Some of our families and individuals at home, thank you so much for being with us this evening. And if you're one of our alumni of our program or another Teen Challenge program or the family of an alumni student, we just want to say thank you so much for being here this evening. And just for being with us this evening shows us that you care and that you want to see a difference in this world. I want to tell you this evening that the needs of our ministry have not gone away. COVID has changed many things, but it has not changed the need that we face in our society today. Our teen girls and families that reach out to us for help are more desperate than ever before. We're seeing depression on the rise, suicide on the rise, drug use on the rise, all due to many of the stressors that have come from this year. You don't have to be an expert to know that our culture is very tense and people need hope, and the hope of Jesus Christ specifically more than ever before. And so thank you so much for tuning in. This first segment that you're going to see is actually about a young girl who struggles with identity, and it's through an interpretive dance. You're going to love it. And she faces identity crisis, distraction, and many other things, self-worth, and she's trying to figure out pretty much who she is, and she's going to find that through Christ and her relationship with Him, that she can be unshakable. And we hope you enjoy this next segment.
You are unshakable. Your love unexplainable. And I won't hold back. No longer will I do the things I do. All I need is you. You are unshakable. Your love unexplainable. All I need is you. I will not move. I will not burn. If this year has taught me anything, it's that if in you I trust, I can do anything. 'Cause you can do everything. And I give everything I am to you, all for your sake. I give you praise. You're worthy, and I never understood your grace, but only you could break these chains. When the prison shake and the hearts awake,
I take these broken pieces and I surrender them to you. I know I lost my way before, but today is the start of something new. I choose to be more and more like you in a world that's ever changing. You've never changed on me. Even when neglect was at large, telling me that no one cared. Distractions and temptations made me question, God, are you there? Shame told me that I was nothing but a product of my past. My identity wrapped insecurities and created false memories that I knew would never last because I planned a life without you, wishing of things I wanted to come. You took me from the deepest valleys, taught me that I didn't have to be who I had become, that if I give all that I am to you, I'd realize what you've already done. You sent your son, so I didn't have to waver in who I am. I'm so thankful that you found me and that I found you, that you loved me before I loved you. Above you, there is no one. And along my journey, I realized that I can't do this on my own. Together we stand,
but divided we fall.
The world is full of darkness,
where people hate the light and love the sin. Time passes by us all, our thinking getting darker as the world refuses to get lighter. Lies thrown in our faces, disgraces, broken beyond repair, and you feel as if your world is crashing down.
We get trapped in these cycles, pushed back and forth between prosperity to ruins, and we hold no hope.
Instead of being united, we're separated from each other. We think that addictions and searching for love is gonna fill the voice that we have inside of us.
The voice that caused depression walk hand in hand with our anxiety. Their instability often leaves us in a daze as it catches us off guard, hitting us like a tidal wave.
But the sun will always rise, a beautiful ombre of color, and with it comes a break from the night, from the darkness that for so long had us consumed. It brings hope of better days as it spills its golden rays, filling even the darkest shadows with a glorious new light.
4 years we have prayed for this. 4 years we have shed tears for this. But are we willing to walk in it?
Because when the King of Glory comes down
and touches us with his light,
with his hope,
we recoil into what we used to know, but he's still reaching out his hand, asking that we trust him and that we learn how to stand. Though waves of fear and doubt will try to knock us down, he's simply asking us to not turn around, to not run back to the places from which he's already saved us.
The sun will always rise, a beautiful umber of color, and with it comes a new chance to walk in the glory of his sacred light.
So together, we choose to stand,
no longer searching for light,
but instead being the light,
because Christ burns inside of us.
A flaming torch in these darkest hours. What does it mean to be unshakable? Is it a feeling or is it a state of being? Is it wishful thinking or could it be a possible reality? To be unshakable is to have an impenetrable faith that nothing, not a person, the devil, nor any circumstance can ever take away from you. To be unshakable is when disaster turns your life to chaos, the family is divided, your mind is haunted, and everyone you trusted has walked away. And still, you find within you the courage to rise above the pain, rise up from the tragic places you've been and face the fire. Though the flames may scorch your body, and each step may feel like you're walking towards your own demise. To be unshakable is to admit that you're hurting, and that alone you are weak, but still recognizing that through him truly you can do all things.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, another awesome honor I have with you this evening is to be able to share some of the updates from this past year that are very, very exciting. One of the first and foremost, most exciting things that I'm able to share with you today is that we were able actually to fill up our entire program and run at 36 students and fill up all of our bed count, which is amazing. And I want to say thank you specifically to all of our supporters and donors that pray for us and support us and volunteer with us. This is a huge victory for us and a huge milestone for our campus. This is mainly due to a lot of the student sponsorship giving from last year's gala. And so thank you so much for that. We just appreciate your giving so much. One Another thing we've been able to do through a generous donation from Access Church actually was to be able to remodel another wing of our dorm rooms and really kind of modernize the dorm rooms and make them very warm and home-like for our students. And we're constantly trying to do that to make the girls feel loved, even with the environment that they live in and sleep in every single day. We want them to feel loved and cared for as God loves them and cares for them. So thank you so much to Access Church for that. Due to the growth, actually, we've had to purchase 2 new vans. They were actually slightly used, but in great shape, but 2 vans because we were running out of room on our vehicles before. We weren't able to, we were running out of seats in our vans, and so we had to get some new vans to transport the girls around town, which is some exciting updates that we've had. We were also able to go on a missions trip to El Salvador, where our girls were eternally impacted. We partnered with King's Castle Ministries, and our girls had an amazing time down there. We know that hundreds of lives were touched with the children on the streets in El Salvador, and even some of our students came back from that trip and said they're called into missions, that they want to be a missionary now after going on that trip, and God used that trip to impact their eternal destiny of their life, which is amazing. Another thing we've been able to do is actually repaint the entire campus inside and out, which is to even bring the building and kind of modernize it just a bit and make it even more home-like for our staff and students, which is great. Right now, actually, we have one student that has just enrolled in the past month in Liberty University and completed her high school diploma and was able to roll into college, and our students and teachers rather that are in our classroom do such an amazing job in there. We're constantly trying to improve in our classroom, and we're actually working on our entire campus to add a level of accreditation to us as well through the Florida League of Christian High Schools. So we've been working incredibly hard on that front as well. And these are just a few of the awesome updates that we've had from this past year.
Hi, my name is Gianna Hunter. I'm 16 years old, and this is my testimony. Growing up, I lived with both my brothers, my mom and my dad. My parents were actually divorced before I was born, which was kind of weird growing up, but I got used to it. When I got to the age of 6, my dad had committed suicide, which was very hard for me, but also I didn't really understand because I was so young. As I got older, I started to understand more and more, and I fell into depression, anxiety, bipolarness, and anger. Me and my mom's relationship got really bad. We fought a lot, and I wanted nothing to do with her. My depression kept feeding me, and this led me to do heavier drugs, start smoking weed, and drinking. June of 2019, I got in a really bad car accident, and I remember being on my deathbed in the hospital, praying and thanking God for keeping me alive, but I went right back to the same stuff I was doing, and my depression kept feeding me over and over. I was very insecure, and I really just didn't love myself. I thought I was ugly. I thought nobody ever loved me, and I wasn't wanted by anybody. I kept running away from home. I was stealing a lot, and I didn't want to live. In that summer, I tried committing suicide 3 times, and my life was just going so far downhill, and I didn't know what to do. So my mom sent me to Teen Challenge on October 9th, 2019. Ever since, my life has been completely changed around. I got over my depression, my anxiety, my anger, my bipolarness. I have no temptations to do drugs and drink. Me and my mom's relationship has completely changed, and I love her so much now, and God has just really softened my heart, and I never thought I could really love myself and love others the way that I do now. And I'm just really thankful for everything that God has put in my life, because all those things that I went through, I wouldn't be here right now sharing with you guys my testimony. I really want to go to Asia and help little kids in orphanages, because something about that just really speaks to my heart, and I just want to help out people all over the world.
Hello and welcome to our 2020 Teen Challenge Southeast Gala. We're so excited to have you tonight. My name is Bryce Maddock. I'm the president and CEO of Teen Challenge of the Southeast region. And I'm excited to be able to share with you the things that are going on in our region, and also to introduce our keynote speaker. This year we decided for our theme to be unshakable. In Psalm 16, David talks about fixing his eyes on God, and that makes his feet remain unshakable. And that's the way we feel right now. In spite of the uncertainty going on all around us, we want to remain unshakable. And I want to say that you have helped us to remain unshakable this year, in spite of the things that are going on, the coronavirus pandemic, the financial uncertainty, social unrest. And on top of that, there is so many people that are anxious and depressed. There are so many people that are struggling with addictions more than ever before. And also, there's an increase of suicide during this time. What that speaks to me is that there's so many people that are out there searching and looking for hope. And I'm thankful that Teen Challenge has been able to do that. We've been able to keep our doors open when many businesses, sad to say, have closed theirs. Many nonprofits have closed their doors and will never reopen. But thanks for your prayers and your financial support, you've helped us to remain unshaken during this time. You have helped us to be able to reach more men, women, boys, and girls than we ever have. And I'm encouraged to share with you that this year we've been able to grow as well. We've been able to start our first intensive outpatient program. We've been able to start our Hope Counseling Network. We've been able to start another micro business, which is called Simply Clean Solutions. We've been able to start a new thrift store in the Orlando area. And we're very encouraged that in January 2021, we're going to be opening our 7th adolescent campus. It's now my privilege to be able to introduce our keynote speaker, Mike Lindell, who is the inventor and CEO of MyPillow. Mike has a big heart for those who are struggling with life-controlling issues, as he has had a powerful story and testimony of his life and how God has transformed him. I invited Mike over a year ago to come to one of our campuses, and Mike shared out of his experience, he shared out of his heart, and he truly connected with our students. It was then that I knew that Mike was the real deal and that he truly had a heart for those that were struggling with life-controlling problems. Mike has a brand new book entitled, What Are the Odds? Crack Addict to CEO. And with your donation of $50 or more, we want to be able to give you a signed copy of this book. I know that it will encourage you. I know that it will challenge you. And I know that it will help you to see that we all serve a God who helps us every day to remain unshakable. Please enjoy Mike Lindell, and thank you once again for your prayers and your generosity.
Hello, everyone. I'm Mike Lindell, the inventor and CEO of MyPillow. You know, my story, I guess, begins in childhood. When I was 7 years old, my parents divorced, and I got put into another school away from my friends, and I was the only kid from a divorced family. And right away, I had this feeling like I didn't fit in, or the devil's lie, I was unworthy, and I would do things. I became kind of shy, and I would do things either to show off, or I wouldn't talk to people. And this went through my childhood into my teens, and I got into different addictions, got compulsive gambling, and a lot of different things, alcohol around 15 or 16. But one of the things that's real significant, I got to my 5-year class reunion, and I'm there, and they had all graduated from college or finished, or expanding their careers, starting families. I had dropped out of college in the first quarter, and I hadn't done anything. I'd worked at a drive-in movie theater and a grocery store. I got home that night, and I laid in bed, and I had a deep sadness about me. It was like, I can still put myself back there. I wanted what they had. By the way, in the early 80s, I got into cocaine. And when I tried cocaine for the first time, I'm going, wow, I felt good inside. It masked the problem. It gave me false courage. All these things it did for me, that I could be this functioning addict, and I was for a long time. But I married in 1987, had 4 kids. But in the early 2000s, I got into crack cocaine, which is a different drug than cocaine, and just another addiction. And I started my business, you all know me as with the MyPillow, in 2004. At this time, I didn't have anything left when I started MyPillow. I was turned down everywhere. I ended up doing a kiosk and doing home shows throughout the country. Well, I did this for 7 years, the home shows. But in the meantime, I had this parallel track of addiction. I lost a marriage of 20 years. I had people betraying, taking my company, all this betrayal. But the combination was just devastating. It got to the point where drug dealers actually did an intervention on me in early 2008. And he said, you've been telling us for years, Mike, that this My Pillow thing is just a platform for God. And you're going to quit and come back and help us all someday out of addiction, this addiction world we're living in. And that two of those guys, by the way, are born-again Christians that work for me now. I prayed, I said, God, I want to wake up in the morning and never have the desire again for these addictions. Well, I woke up the next day and they were gone. And they've been gone ever since. That was a divine miracle. My history with Teen Challenge actually started the day that I was set free of the addictions on January 16, 2009. I'm laying on my sister's couch. I was staying with her, and I had this. It was like a daydream. I told my sister, I keep getting this dream, Run Baby Run, like a Nick or something. And she goes, I think it's a book. And she looked it up, and it was Run Baby Run by Nicky Cruz. I jumped in my car, and I went down. I knew I had to find the book. I went down, drove all the way to Minneapolis, the public library, and checked out the book. Here is that book. And I've kept it for my archives. It's actually a copy of it in my book that I just wrote. But I got it home. I read it cover to cover, and I'm going, wow. With Nicky, leading the Mau Mau's out of, the whole story, I go, maybe I'm going to be a leader that leads, people out of addiction. This book, and it resonated with me. I'm going, wow, there is a story behind Teen Challenge and what they've done. And then I obviously researched them all I go, wow, this is an amazing network of help based on Jesus. And 2 months later, I went to this faith-based treatment center that was out of our church, and it was all these principles they were teaching of where addiction comes from, these wounds, these father wounds and trauma. The faith-based centers work because they address the wounds that manifest into the devil's lie. I'm not worthy. I'm not good enough. I don't fit in. I'm different. They were addressing these things that would restore your heart and bring you to Jesus. Well, this goes all the way up to, when I wore my cross on TV and I wanted that personal relationship, well, I kept sending people, my friends and stuff, sending them to Teen Challenge. When I came down there and Bryce called me up and I pray about every place I'm supposed to go and speak and be at. We go to this one place and it's for, I couldn't believe there was even exist. It was for 12 to 17-year-old girls. And I get in there and I'm telling my story. And I'm going, are they even going to resonate with this? And we got done, and all these girls come up, and they wanted pictures. And one little girl says, can I give you a hug? And I give her a hug. Well, then they all lined up for hugs. And what they were looking for was hope. They seen hope, even though I'm so far apart in age and addiction, whatever that is, but they see hope. And that hope is Jesus. It ain't me. This is all giving God the glory. People are looking for help more than ever, but they need your help to provide so Teen Challenge can keep providing the help and this unshakable foundation. You can be that unshakable foundation that the unshakable foundation here needs. You can be part of this, part of the most inspiring thing you can ever do, and God's going to reward you. People don't necessarily reach out for hope or help when things are going good. So this is an opportunity here that is unprecedented. We can get more people saved and more people's hearts restored than ever before. I'm telling you, you're putting your money where the best help is in history. We're all looking for hope, and that hope is Jesus. I want to thank you all, and God bless each and every one of you.
Well, we just want to sincerely thank you so much for joining in this evening. It is an honor to be able to be with you this evening, even if it is virtually. We hope that certainly next year that we can gather again in person. But we just want to say thank you so much for tuning in. If the Lord has led you this evening to give to our ministry, there's going to be some giving options that are going to be seen on the screen below me. One of the most exciting and new options we have for that is our text to give. And if you text the number that you're seeing on the screen right now, you're going to be able to be walked through some simple instructions on how to give through that. It's very simple and very safe and secure as well. So we just want to say thank you for that. Some of our students with international origin actually this evening had the idea to say thank you to you in their own special way this evening. And so we want to give them the opportunity to do that. But thank you for joining us.
Dziękuję.
谢谢.
Спасибо. Gracias.
Dankeschön.